Well, welcome to the channel. My name is Whitby and I'm your host. Thanks so much for joining me today, and I look forward to your thoughts and comments on this project. In this video, I'm going to be looking at wood turning the world with bow ties. And it's a bit of an extension to a previous project with triangles and bow ties, but I wanted to see how complex the shapes could get. Now you might think that this is more to do with carving than wood turning, but hey, let me know in the comments what you think. And if you're new to this channel, just say welcome, and if you've been here many times before, well, welcome back. Please don't forget to hit the like button and leave a comment. Obviously if you liked the video, or just simply leave a comment if you didn't. I appreciate any kind of feedback at all. Now the method I'm choosing, as I say, I've repeated this before in a previous video, and the link to that is in the description below, but also should be appearing in the top right hand of the screen. And this is a great method for turning pieces with complex shapes that really seem to lift out of the structure. They're really bringing it to life. So here I'm going to use ash for the land masses and sapele for the interconnecting bow ties. Now I wanted to try and get a circular shape for the pieces and have the land masses lifted off from the Antarctic. So I had to create a channel near the base of the piece. Once that was initially shaped, it's then to cut out a stencil, an outline of the land masses, the major land masses, and then we'll glue them onto the globe itself. Now I'm just using ordinary PVA glue. It doesn't matter to have really good adhesion. It just gives me a bit of a template, a guideline for where I need to place the bow ties. Then it's on to actually making the bow ties themselves. As I say, I use some sapele, so it's just cutting them into shorter sections and then get them onto the bandsaw with a jig and to generate the bow tie shape. Obviously here, health and safety is of primary importance, and in some videos it does look as though my fingers are getting close to some of the blades, but I do take a lot of precautions. I do take health and safety very seriously. So once I've got sufficient number of bow ties, it's then on to routing out the mortises. So again, I use a template that has been cut out to match the exact shape of the bow tie itself. And here it's just to fix it to a custom created holding jig so that I can get an accurate placing of the bow tie. And it's using a 6mm routing bit that can fit within the template guide. And then I can get a reproducible mortise every time to match all the bow ties that I've made. Obviously I'm using several passes with the router rather than trying to just go into it all at once. It's a quick way of burning up your routing bit. But once I've got down to sufficient length, it's then using a scribe to mark out the rest of the bow tie. It's mainly at the corners. Having a round router bit, of course, will only leave rounded corners, so we then need to taper them off into a matching corners for the bow tie. So it's a bit of painstaking work, to try and get it right. So it's always trying to keep the chisels in a vertical alignment to the channel that's been created with the router. And hopefully, that if I've been very careful, that the bow tie itself will be a nice tight fit. Not impossible to get in and out, or at least not impossible to get in, but it should require a bit of force to place it in, and it should not come out. I'm going to suspend all the land masses with 3 bow ties from the base in what would be the Antarctic. And whilst I cut them out here, on reflection I should have cut out the bow ties for the land masses first, placed those bow ties in, reshaped the globe, and then placed the base bow ties in. Now, you're probably thinking, my goodness, his technique is absolutely sloppy. I've only recently come into woodworking within the last few years and taking wood turning a bit more seriously in the last few months. So I do recognise that I've got a lot to learn and my technique does need some refinement, shall we say. Now here, just using ordinary PVA wood glue, and it's only going into the corners and the base of the piece, not into the middle of the bow tie itself. So whilst I want the ends of the bow tie to be firmly jointed to the rest of the wood, I do not want the middle parts to be glued into the ash land masses. They need to be able to come away far more easily. Now another mistake I did make was with the central ones, like this particular bow tie. I cut the mortise a little bit too deep, but even then I shouldn't have hammered the bow tie all the way to the base of the mortise. I should have left it proud as with the rest of the bow ties. So when it came to shaping the piece so that the bow tie was flat with the land masses, kind of reducing the globe shape itself, it became much flatter than expected. Right, so just doing some initial shaping, trying to get the land mass of the ash down to the level of the bow ties. You can see at the end of the piece there's a couple of damp looking patches. I had to use a bit of CA glue to seal some cracks. I thought that the ash was properly dried, but maybe I just left it too near a radiator to speed up the drying process. Yeah, my bad. So once I've got the shape of the land masses, level with the bow ties, it's then on with some sanding sealer to seal it down, and then I'd get on with a 240 grit sanding throughout. We've got to go to the hollowing out part. So starting off with small drill bits and gradually increasing in size. Yeah, hollowing out still freaks me out somewhat when I'm wood turning, just lacking a tiny bit of confidence with it. But even though I seem to have had quite a bit of success in achieving the final result, it just takes a lot of time, very nervous, still quite white-knuckled when I'm gripping the bits, rather than just being quite relaxed and letting the bit do the work. So eventually, once we've hollowed out sufficiently, I can then get in some of the more traditional, but they're carbide tools. I just find them a little bit easier to work with, but I recognise that being quite a novice wood turner, that perhaps there is a long way for me to go. But you can see that with persistence, we can start the hollowing out and we get closer towards revealing the inside of the bow ties. So it's just slowly reducing the thickness of the walls to something that I can work with. Not too thick that it looks clunky, but not too thin that it's very fragile. And once we hollow out sufficiently down towards the base, we can then open up the middle, the channel at the base, which will allow everything else to float from the base to the rest of the land masses of the globe. Yeah, it's a little bit messy, but we can clean that up with some sanding afterwards, and once we've got it off the lathe we can then get it back and then start reapplying some of those land masses, and we're just going to use them as a stencil and get an approximate position and shape. A little bit of artistic license is going to be required in rebuilding the globe. I think on reflection that the land masses are probably too small and the bow ties are too big. So I either needed a bigger piece of ash or I needed to have cut a lot smaller bow ties. But it's always going to be a trade-off. I needed something that could still stand up to being turned on the lathe without flying apart and keeping the land masses together, and for the whole piece to be handled. It wouldn't be handled on a daily basis, but it'd be nice that it feels solid to the touch. Right, so now we start the carving out process. So using a Dremel and trying to figure out, could I go straight through the side walls of the ash along the land mass lines, and found this quite a cumbersome process. So then decided to use a very small drill bit and then work along the coastlines of each of the major land masses up to the connecting bow ties, and then go back in with the Dremel. And actually this made things so much easier. It's possibly down to the tools that I'm using, but you know, this seemed to be a reasonably good workaround solution. And it does look very messy at the moment, I totally understand that. And this is why I don't glue the middles of the bow ties. So once you've got the land masses cut towards the bow tie, then of course the entire piece should just pop out as it does. It's a bit messy, but then we get on the rasps and then we can clean it up. Now some of the land masses worked better than others. Unfortunately I had to create an amalgamation of several countries, of Indonesia and Malaysia, just into one big land mass, so I could connect Australia up to Eurasia. And once all those were removed, then it's back onto the lathe. I just wanted to sort the base out and give it a bit more of a profile from the bow ties at the base down to the bottom of the piece. I was not going to touch the top piece, the top land masses, whilst it was spinning on the lathe. So everything else, when it came to sanding and sealing and then the final polish, was all done whilst the lathe was stationary, or I was just turning it by hand. Now you can see that one of these bow ties does have a tiny bit of a gap. So I need to, again, improve my technique somewhat. So we're just going to finish off with a little bit of bison polish. Just takes a bit of time. And then a final buff. Again, was not prepared to have the piece spinning on the lathe whilst doing this, just in case there was a catch and everything flew apart. And here's the final piece. Some of these images are a bit difficult to make out in terms of identifying the major land masses. I think you can, if I say which ones they are, you'd instantly recognize them, but because they're still images, you don't really get a sense of the depth perception. But in this little movie sequence, at least we've got the globe turning round. And hopefully it just gives off some approximation of what it is to actually look at this piece in real life. Really pleased with it. I was quite surprised how well it came out for my first attempt. A number of things I would do differently, and yeah, I think it's just a really exciting project. Kind of advances some other ideas I have on what I could potentially do in the future with it. But as I say, you know, is it wood turning, is it carving, is it a mixture? Does it really matter? It's about how we would enjoy such pieces, how we would enjoy making such pieces. But whilst the world is spinning, just tell me in the comments below, you know, what's your favourite country and why? And if anybody asks me, then I'll let them know in the comments. But look, thank you for joining me. I really appreciate you sticking on to the end of the video. If you did like it, please hit the thumbs up, hit the subscribe button if you haven't already, and please hit that bell notification for notifying of upcoming videos. So thanks so much for watching, and catch you next time.